Welcome to our podcast, Voices of Change, where we dive into social issues and personal stories. I'm Eva, the host this time, and today we're tackling a topic that's both personal and political, the stigmatization of single mothers. Joining me are Abigail, Hector, Ivan, and Karina, each bringing unique perspectives to this conversation. So let's start by setting the stage. So I ask Hector, would you mind giving us a little introduction?
Good day, Eva. No, I don't mind helping with that. Stigmatization is the process of labeling, stereotyping, and discriminating against individuals or groups based on perceived difference or characteristics, leading to social exclusion, marginalization, and loss of status.
Talking about stigmatization, well, it can be based on various factors. In this exclusive case of single mothers, what area of their life do you think gets affected?
Definitely, we are talking about a damage in the social status leading to an aggression of human rights. Single parenting is categorized under social status because of historical and cultural norms that emphasize the importance of traditional nuclear families.
Then, therefore, discussing the stigmatization of single mothers is crucial because it sheds light on how societal labeling impacts their lives, and also mainly discuss because this issue highlights a broader problem, the erosion of social status and a potential human rights violation stemming from outdated cultural norms.
Yeah, so the reason why we wanted to bring attention to this topic is actually because of a personal experience shared by one of our guests, Abigail. Could you please share your story with us?
Hi, absolutely. I first noticed this issue during a family gathering. For some context, just days before my cousin announced he was in a new relationship. The girl he was seeing, although a wonderful person, was a single mother. While my cousin was comfortable with this and had previously dated women with children, it became a significant topic for the rest of the family. I remember hearing comments such as he should find someone who can have children with him. I was genuinely concerned.
And I fear this mindset is more common than it seems. They believe that men shouldn't date women with children because they are already considered used and should instead find someone who can share their own legacy.
True, these beliefs not only undermine the seriousness with which single mothers are treated, but also lead to harmful stereotypes. Comments often arise suggesting that single mothers are simply seeking for financial support, are unfit as partners or wives, or are perceived as promiscuous and irresponsible.
And how much of this data can we prove wrong?
According to recent statistics, 11% of single mothers in Mexico are in the 25 to 29 age group, and 12% are in the 30 to 34 age group. Despite being single, these women are in a stage of life where they can actively shape their future, single or if they decide with a partner. 7 out of 10 single mothers in Mexico are economically active and hold stable jobs. This indicates that they are capable of supporting their families independently and taking full responsibility for their children.
With this information in mind, I would like to invite our guest Ivan to share his perspective as a man. He will discuss how these misconceptions influence the way men interact with single mothers and their children, drawing from his own observations and experiences with similar comments.
Thank you for the introduction. As we mentioned earlier, there are misconceptions that single mothers are used seeking only financial support or are suitable only for short-term relationships. However, these views are far from the full story. There is much more to consider. Once these beliefs take root, they often influence our behavior. One common manifestation is the social exclusion or marginalization of single mothers from social events and activities. Their partners might find it challenging to bring them to family gatherings or social events, fearing they might not be seen as presentable or acceptable in the eyes of their family and friends.
And as Abigail's personal experiences shows, who will want to introduce their partner when such negative comments and judgments are being made behind their back, right?
Exactly. Even if our views differ, we often feel a sense of shame as if there's something inherently wrong, despite the fact that there isn't.
And what about the children? How does the stigma affect the way they are treated?
From what I've heard, children of single mothers are often perceived as a nuisance. There's a common belief that they are problematic or difficult to manage, partly because something is challenging to form a bond or love them as much as one would with a biological children. Hence, the idea that they won't or shouldn't receive the same level of affection or care.
That is horrible.
I know this belief can profoundly impact not only in the relationship with the children but also with their partners. It can escalate to a fear of taking responsibilities or commitments with someone else's children, leading some to feel it's not worth getting involved with a single mother because the children are not biologically theirs.
Can you elaborate on this? Is there anything else you'd like to add about the notion that single mothers are only seeking financial support, especially in light of the data we shared earlier?
Certainly, even though we discussed how the belief that single mothers are only seeking financial support can drive men away, it's remarkable to see that despite the data showing a significant percentage of single mothers being financially stable, this misconception still persists and continues to scare some men away.
What is the reason for this?
Primarily, it's due to the perception that single mothers are too independent or don't need a partner, especially if they've demonstrated they can support themselves without assistance.
Well, that's quite contradictory, isn't it? Now, for the final section of this podcast, we've invited Karina to discuss how the situation infringes for the human rights of single mothers. After that, we'll come together as a group to explore proposals and for addressing and improving this stigmatization.
It is a pleasure to be here, and I would like to start by defining human rights. Human rights are a set of principles and norms that are aimed to ensure the dignity, the freedom, and the well being of all of us, regardless of the race, gender, age, nationality, religion, sexual education, or any other condition. These rights are universal and they cannot be denied, which means that they apply equally to all human beings and they cannot be taken away.
With this information in mind, how can we demonstrate that these rights are being violated in the case of the stigmatization of single mothers?
Among human rights, it is included the right to equality and non discrimination, as well as the right to dignity and respect. Stigmatization perpetuates discrimination based on marital status and family situations, and also stereotypes with prejudices undermine the dignity of single mothers. How? Well, by reducing them to simplistic and negative concepts. This violates their right to be treated with respect and dignity.
I understand that the right to participate in social and cultural life is so relevant here. Could you confirm if this right is indeed impacted?
Well, it is. Since social exclusion and marginalization in events and activities can limit their ability to fully participate in social and cultural life, it has an impact in their emotional well being and the community integration. And there is even more, like the right to family and private life. Social pressures and cultural expectations can interfere with single mothers' ability to form and maintain a healthy, stable relationship. This can also affect the right to leave a family and have private life, free from external interference and judgment.
Exactly, as we discussed throughout this podcast.
Everything is related. From a political perspective, there is also the right to protection and social support. While many single mothers are financially independent, those who are not may be facing significant challenges. Inadequate support and resources can compromise their well being and that of their children. The lack of effective public policies and support networks can violate the right to receive protection and social assistance.
Absolutely. The more we understand, the clearer the issues become. As we wrap up this episode, let's shift our focus to discussing proposals for making a positive impact. Who would like to start?
I would. I believe that while it may seem simple, fostering social inclusion is crucial. We should create spaces and events, whether in person or online, like this one, that welcome and value single mothers. This approach helps to promote greater acceptance and participation in social life.
I agree. As you mentioned, it doesn't have to be limited to in person events. Platforms like podcasts can promote inclusivity to young generations everywhere. I would add that it's important to highlight positive role models in this media that represent single mothers in a positive and realistic manner. Showcasing success stories and diverse representations can change the public perception.
These are excellent proposals. I would like to add one more focused specifically on education. As we have discussed, there is a strong perception of the traditional family structure. To address this, it is important to implement educational programs for men and couples that highlight the real life experiences and challenges that women faced with their children. Such programs can help dispel myths and prejudices, fostering a more understanding and fair perspective.
I would take this step further by offering psychological support and counseling services. This can assist single mothers in managing the stress associated with stigmatization while also strengthening their self esteem and resilience.
Excellent work, team. It's been a honor to discuss these issues and represent the strong women who face these challenges every day. After our discussion, I can say that I become much more aware and sensitive to the situation. I'm grateful of how we analyze and you show me the impact this space can have in building a more just society where everyone is valued regardless of their family situation.
Thank you as well for having us today.
To our listeners, we encourage you to join us in driving this change. Share the insights we discussed today, support single mothers in your communities, and advocate a more inclusive perspective, whether it's through backing inclusive policies, getting involved in educational programs, or I don't know, probably simply questioning and challenging stereotypes. Every action counts, really. And well, once again, I want to thank everyone for your time and participation in this conversation. Your commitment and support are crucial for making a real difference. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.